Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Samasta Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagnikalaya Kalagni Rudraya Nilakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Hari Om, salutations to all. So the fourth verse, Nirvana Shatkam, the first verse we saw, it speaks about the negation of the subtle body. Second verse, broadly it will negate the gross body. Third verse negates the impurities of the mind, the four purusharthas. Then the fourth verse today negates the triputi, the doership in us. So let me just open it. Na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham. So punya and papa, they are merit and sin. They are actually karma phalas. They are the result of our actions. When one action is done based on dharma, it will lead to punya. When the action is done with adharma in mind, it will result in papa. So merit or demerit depends on the motive. Mainly the motive, and then of course in the execution also. If motive is good but execution is not, then that also is not correct. So punya and papa, and both are the karma phalas. When they come, they bring sukha and dukkha. The result of punya is experience of sukha, the result of papa is experience of dukkha. So if there is some happiness in our life, some blessings which we have, any even the human body that one has, the comforts, conveniences, food, clothing, shelter, achievements, many of these, they are the result of punya. And one experiences certain positivity, happiness, etc. And if there is sorrow, suffering, pain, that dukkha is there, it is some negative karma which one has done. So people generally say punya karma, papa karma. The karma which brings punya is called punya karma, which is supposed to be actually dharmic karma. Because punya is not a karma, punya is a karma phala. But generally people say punya karma, papa karma. So papa karma is the negative karma, the result of that is papa. And the result of papa is dukkha. So the more we do dharmic actions, the more punya one gets. The more punya one gets, one can use that based on one's own desire to achieve anything in this world, success in this world, glory in this world, enjoyments in this world. Or one can use it for attaining satsang. If one has that deep desire for knowledge, for sadhana, for bhakti, for Ishvara, then punya will be utilized for those things. So depending on what the desire we have, what is our intensity and intention, the punya and papa, punya specifically gets utilized. Papa, definitely there is no other solution there. There is no choice there. One has to go through it. It will manifest in terms of some limitation, sorrow, suffering, and it will get exhausted. But while exhausting it, if we bear it with dignity, it gets over. If that makes us do more papa karma, then we are in a vicious cycle. So here he says, na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham. I am not bound by any of these merits and sins and sukha and dukkha. The sukha and dukkha are states of mind that come and go. Why? Because aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. I am not bound by any of these punya, papa, sukha and dukkha because I am not the karta. So if I am not the karta, how can I be the bhokta? Why am I not the karta? We will come to that. The second line, na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajnaha. These are means for attaining punya. Chanting of the mantras, remembering Bhagwan, invoking the grace of Bhagwan. Tirtha, doing the padayatras or going on tirtha yatra, visiting the various sacred abodes of Bhagwan. And on the way do tapasya, live in self-control, remembrance of Bhagwan, surrender to the Lord. So Marana Trayate iti mantraha, Tiryate anaya iti tirthaha, that by reflecting on which one crosses over the ocean of samsara, that is mantra. That by which one again crosses, Tiryate anaya iti tirtham, this transmigration, that is tirtha. Reflecting upon which one experiences oneness with the divine, that is a mantra. Na vedaha, the vid means to know, vedyate anaya iti vedaha. So that by which we know the truth, so the study of the scriptures, and yajnaha, the various practices, rituals, which again dedicated to Bhagwan. Yaj means to worship, by which we worship the divine, we surrender our ego. When we offer the ahutis, we say, this is meant for Indra, not for me, this is meant for Varuna, not for me, or whichever Bhagwan, our Devata we are worshipping, we offer the ahutis for them. So purifies our mind, brings detachment. So all these four are symbolic of the sadhanas, and they will bring punya into one's life. They will make the life of a person more and more dharmic. So first line is the result of karma and result of karma phala. Result of karma is punya and papa. Result of karma phala is sukha and dukkha. Second is the means to live a dharmic life. Both these lines are negating. I am not bound by any of these, nor am I bound by any of the sadhanas. Now, does not mean we should not do these sadhanas. The purpose is to say that I am not the entity, Mr. So and so. So the third line negates that. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. So I am not the object of experience, I am not the enjoyment, I am not the experiencer. Subject, object, and the experience. Experienced, experiencer, and the experience. I am not any of the three. Why? Because all the three are changing. One. In the waking state itself, objects keep changing. The subject who is connecting to the object, also the thoughts about I keep on changing. That's why people keep asking, every few hours they ask each other, how are you? Because when the mind feels happy, when the mind feels sad, when it is fearful, when it is excited, it keeps changing. What one feels about oneself, morning one feels very confident, then one feels scared, one feels anxious, one feels stressed, one feels happy. So the I thoughts keep changing, things in the world keep changing. And based on that, the subject, what state of mind one is, one contacts the object, that is the quality of the experience. So he says here, I am not any of the three. Why? Because I am the witness which is changeless, which observes all these changes. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. And interesting is this bhojanam and bhojyam, they depend on the bhokta. The experience and the experienced depend on the experiencer. If the experiencer is there, then there is experienced and the experience. If experiencer is not there, there is no experienced and there is no experience also. So consciously we have the sense of doership. I am the karta. We are talking about psychological doership. Functionally, yes, one is a karta. That one can't deny. One can't say, I am not listening right now. I am not speaking right now. And that functionally one cannot deny that. But psychologically one carries a sense of burden. I am the doer. I have done this. I must get this result. That entity which is the karta psychologically, which depends on the karma and the karma phala for its happiness. That psychological entity, that jiva bhav, is the bhokta. That is there only in one state of awareness, in waking state. Consciously we experience karta bhav only in the waking state. In dream state, it is subconscious, buddhi is inactive, so it is just manifesting whatever impressions has been collected in the waking state. It is not a conscious karta bhav, and hence the karmas of the dream don't bind us because they are only expressions of what has already been collected in the mind. So it is only exhausting karma. And in deep sleep, there is no karta bhav at all. There is no bhokta. So there is no jagat also, there is no bhojya, there is no bhojanam. Experienced is not there, experience also is not there. Because experiencer has become dormant. So experiencer is there only in one state, consciously. And in that also it keeps changing. So one who is aware of this, one says, I am not the experienced, the experiencer or the experience. None of these three can bind me. So aham bhojanam, no, I am not the experience. So we define ourselves by the experiences we have. So we say my life is good because experiences were good, or my day went very well because the experiences were good, so my day was good. If experiences are bad, we say my day is bad. So our experience is just one, it's the result of what we are connecting. The subject and the object is connecting to each other. So the mind is going through some experience. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever it may be, it is a state of the mind that comes and goes. So experience, why should I define myself through the experience? I define myself through the objects. If we wear some types of clothes, we feel greater. We wear some branded type of things and we use some latest gadgets and use some specific types of vehicles and whatever. So many objects, we define ourselves through the objects, including this body. So object does not mean anything only outside this body. The body also is an object in this context. So if somebody is tall, dark, young, handsome, thin, obese, we define ourselves with all these. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam. Objects don't need us. I mean, we don't need objects to define ourselves. Objects need the entity to use. We can be free from objects, but today we feel bound because we identify. So aham bhojanam, I am not the experience, I am not the experienced. Then definitely I have to be the experiencer. No, I am not the experiencer also. I all the definitions of I associated with the objects only. If objects are denied, negated, then the subject also is not real, is illusory. So, aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. We negate the subject, object, and the world of experience is negated. Negate the object, subject gets negated as the karta, as the psychological jiva. So, aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. I am the entity which remains even when these three are absent. In samadhi, these three are absent. That is called nirvikalpa samadhi. So, in nididhyasan, when we do steadily the contemplation on the self, we detach from the lower, attach to the self, assert the self more and more. Then the mind gets absorbed in the pointer, the thought of the self. So one has withdrawn from everything else, only that object remains. One. But the Triputi is still there because the meditator is there, the object of meditation is there, the meditator is absorbed in the object of meditation. So Ramakrishna absorbs himself in Mother Kali, he thinks of her alone, and for him it is real. There is no other thought. But there is a duality. He is the devotee, she is the divine mother, he is the child, she is the divine mother, and there is a certain connection. If one goes beyond that, one comes into the state of non-duality. That is called nirvikalpa samadhi, no vikalpa, no thought because there is no thinker. An interesting thing is the thinker also is nothing but a bundle of thoughts only. So one has negated the thinker, negated the thought. That is a state of quietude. There is no duality. One can't talk. One can explain through language some things, but in that state, there is no duality. No karta, no bhokta. So no jagat, no anubhav. They are all gone. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. Chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So when we know ourselves as chit, pure awareness, there is no insecurity in our minds. When we know ourselves as Ananda, there is no dependency. And when we know ourselves as Shiva, Shiva is Satyam and Sundaram, is pure existence and most auspicious, beautiful. Then the fear of death, all anxieties associated with it, because I am Sat, pure existence, which will never become non-existent. So when one says, I am Sat Chidananda or I am Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, then one frees oneself from this mortality, ignorance, and sorrow. One asserts the true nature of the self, existence, consciousness, and bliss. So this is the fourth verse, and this is what we will contemplate upon.